Here. Here.
I am Matt Foreman, Chair of the Board. First item on the agenda is approval of minutes from July 18th, 2024. Do I have a motion?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No. All right, so we'll dig in with old business. 8819 Powell is the applicant here. Come on up. Pull open what I just pulled down. Wrong meeting, sorry. And I couldn't tell because I didn't log into the meeting share. Is there anybody online? There is? Okay. So are they seeing my screen because? No, I just did the click share. Do I need to do both? Technical issues, just a minute. Screen sharing, please. All right, get some stuff out of the way here. Just trying to make sure I don't get an echo coming out of my own computer, so. Don't think I do. All right, now we're back to, tell us about your project, please.
My name is J.R. Mayer with Prestige Custom Homes, presenting the single-family home at 8819 Powell. This was presented at the previous meeting on July 18th, but I was unable to come. The notes that I did receive were the roof line was too high compared to the neighbors, so we decided to hip the roof to lower that to the home to the left. And then the other comment was that the front porch was too far offset to the from the front of the garage. So we brought that forward 2.5 feet as well, which is pretty consistent with what we've done in the past.
Old one?
That's the old one.
I'm gonna say this is
Yeah, that
the,
doesn't look like
That's
it.
the old one,
yeah.
so the new one's got the hip roof and
go to this one. I just don't
Good
have
news
enough
is you can
tabs open, that's all.
see how much better the new one looks compared to that one now, so.
Gonna assume I don't need streetscape, 8.4, there we go. Pull that one down so I can open it and mark it up.
So you can see that we added the hip, lower the appearance of the height, to the neighboring property to the left.
So where
Front porch
that's,
is
that's
far-
where we're at 2.5, right?
And that two and a, that was brought forward 2.5, and that's to the actual foundation wall. So the actual face of the porch and actually gutter board and gutter will actually be protruding closer to the front of the garage than even that.
Side elevation's not updated is what that is that
No,
right?
no, that is correct. If you were to pull up the other one, you would notice that there was, you know, an extra 2.5 feet difference.
Still about 2.5 feet back.
So that's what it
Gotcha.
was
That
before.
one was 4'9" back, where the other one was 2'3".
Gotcha.
Ten, 12, but it's hipped. Previous one was 12.6.
The 12'6".
10, 12. Okay, so front to back is 612. Okay. So that's actually going to reduce the overall massing and you're maintaining the slope on the front. That also here, okay, but
Tipped on one side or both sides? Or this is the old one?
this is the old one.
Gotcha, that's the old one. That's
So on the new one, he's hipped it here and
That's-
here. This is 10, 12, but the side elevation, that's going to drop this mass down. The slope or the
Is that 4/12 or is that,
4.5? I think some of the other typical comments that we talked about last time, so there's window trim consistently. We do to walk out, we drop off. Siding goes all the way down. We don't have painted foundation exposed.
is this still a raised heel?
Oh, good question.
I mean,
Yep.
I know that you want to get that raised heel. There's some simplicity to the framing and the insulation. But I think that would help so much
Hang on, let me
to drop it back.
Are you referring to the garage?
The overall height of the house. So the top layer has about looks like a 16-inch raised heel, which adds 16 inches to the vertical elevation of the building.
I mean, keep in mind, I mean, we can certainly lower that for sure. But keep in mind, we have the house to the right as well, which we built. And that's got the same framing characteristics. So it's got the raised heel as well. That's got a gable. So I'm trying to keep some consistency. But I mean, we can certainly do it.
I apologize. I wasn't here to see this last month, but so the house you're referring to is already built. The one next to what you're saying?
Yeah.
So okay.
So these are the two lots. I find the right windows. These two houses have been torn down. So that's the one on the corner. This one was torn
Oh, yeah,
down.
yeah, I know the-
Same
yeah.
developer did that one first, and they've done this one next. So his
Actually,
point
That's right. Yeah.
is this one's the one in play at the moment.
What's the next house down?
That's where I was going, was that the next one down is still the rest of the block is still pretty low.
So the heel that you're talking about, if that was to be reduced, it's not impacting the ceiling height or anything inside the house, right? So the existing one with that notwithstanding, like I'm catching up to speed because I wasn't here last month, but if the goal, which often happens to us, that we're putting 2-story houses in because people want bigger houses, and that's fine. In a neighborhood that's predominantly 1-story, then as with the change to the hip, the goal is to sort of minimize the impact of the additional height, right? So, and I'm not even making a decision or anything. I'm just thinking logically. The only reason to have the heel is to make it taller on purpose, right? What's the other reason?
Structurally
right?
for the trusses.
Yeah, it does have it is a better quality framing, prevents the baffle issues, gets past having a condensed insulation on the edges. You're allowed to do it, but I understand all the construction logic, but I think, and I'm coming from my street where we have a humongous house in comparison to small houses. And we need to start addressing this, period.
What if we?
So I'm going to stick with the thought that that is something that can be given up. I know you did the house next door. If you told me that you have a contract on the next property,
Yeah.
I'm fine with it as it is. If you have a contract on the next property and you're going to renovate it or rebuild it, we'll move this concept to the
We're
next
pushing it down
house.
the block, right?
Fine, because we're scaling down as you go. The corner lot that I think is that getting onto a commercial corner, or what is that one?
Now, the corner lots.
Commercial, single family, then
Yeah,
R2.
if it's the one.
Commercial zoning, but it's that house.
Yeah, so I'm less concerned with that direction and the fact that you already have the tall house facing that. That's neither here nor there at this point. But as you're continuing into the neighborhood, the scale,
And they are across from commercial.
oh yeah, the Bentley dealer.
Can I offer an alternative?
Sure.
What if we-
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So the front gables
Yeah.
and the hips are 10/12s.
Yes.
So the actual the tallest point of the house is at the main front gable above the bedrooms.
Right.
What if we were to lower the hip and all the front gables down to 8/12? That would bring that point down.
Yeah, without knowing how far, or do we have a site plan on this one? Is it on the set, or do you have a drawing that I can take a peek at? What do you guys?
Hang on, I gotta go.
I know
find
we
it.
were talking about reducing the pitches or did you reduce it to?
The
Go
main
over
house
12?
roof, the main house roof remained as a 6/12.
Okay, so it was originally 6/12, so 6/12.
And the gables were previously, I would assume 10/12 as well. But
So this
So-
is the original lot.
yeah,
that
the
had
original ones were
one
10/12 as
single-
well.
And the original garage was in behind because it was two homes on one, I'm sorry, it was one home on two lots.
Can you zoom in on about where the new, okay, we're gonna keep the front line matching to the one to the right on the drawing, I don't.
So they're a
which-
little, this is existing,
yeah.
this is existing, they're a
Was
little
that the
back.
front line of the house? Okay, so that is the corner of the other house. So you do have, what is that, about 30 feet between the two houses there? So the reality is it's that vertical wall by itself is typically the largest impact on the adjacent property. The step back, dropping from a 6/12 down would help some. I think it actually helps your front elevation more. I'm not even saying you have to take it down. Was it 14 inches? Was I correct in that recollection, or is it
110.
110? So 22 inches. Yeah, if you even split the difference and cut some of it out, I think that it alone helps. And you'll still get the benefits of the raised heel, the simplicity of the insulation. You don't have to actually pile it all the way up. I don't know what your insulation plans and the rest of it are on the inside.
Yep.
You're allowed an exception for that perimeter and a differential in size. It's there, so you can take advantage of that if that's your concern.
So between the two, what do you ideally,
I
are you
would-
thinking 18 to 20
My
inches?
preference, I don't, I mean, if you cut it in to a foot, easy, I mean, that would, I think, help it a lot.
Okay.
And if it was
So our
8
value on
inches,
12 inches of insulation, Mr. Environmental Guy.
well, any of the stuff is
Your foam will get 8
a
per
lot of
inch.
it anyways. So.
So again, I think we're probably pretty close here. The
I mean, again, it's the other guys have their opinion too. I'm just saying my opinion is that the vertical wall element itself, its height, is what really directly impacts the neighboring property. You have the advantage that it's not 5 foot on each side, like as I pointed out,
So
my
you're saying
neighbors.
this vertical wall.
Right. The less it is, then the less impact it is.
That by default is going to lower
Right.
everything here
Right.
by a foot
Yeah, the 10 inches, I think is, I mean,
or 10 inches. Take it down.
10 inches to a foot. I mean, I'll let you guys, if there's some special mark there, and if you can get it lower, that would be great.
Yeah, I'll let I can let the roof truss engineers.
Yeah. I mean,
So sorry to make it more complicated. I can't tell. I think if you drop anything 10 inches or more, you're gonna now hit the gable on the garage, right? So
that's right.
So so what you were saying about taking the 10-12 and making it something, is it 10-12 the gable? Yeah.
Yeah, the
And
hips in the front.
making that 8. You might have to make those 8-12 as well because now you're hitting the garage.
That may be a
Yeah. So
byproduct of it.
Which actually I think is a good thing.
Yeah, and again, it's the same issues, is that makes the garage, so to restate the note as it was transcribed to you, it's not that the porch was pushed too far back, it's that the garage is too predominant. It's saying the same thing, but it's a different thought process, and what we're trying to do is de-emphasize the garages on the front. I mean, it would be great if that big gable was the front entry and it was a horizontal at the garage. You're not going to redesign it that far, and I'm not asking you to. I'm just telling you that is the way I see these front entry garages that help them out more, is the less vertical impact you get.
I mean, our goal is always to get something improved and out of here, right? So,
Right.
so should we, with your suggestion, on the table, should we show what 8 and 12 looks like, and then, I'm asking you to sketch
Yeah,
something
you're the
again, but
you're the magician.
but just
when it
You know
comes
what?
to it.
You guys are doing a wonderful job explaining, so I can draw while you guys
So,
explain.
I mean, if you want to show those, and so it's actually 6/12 on the rear side and 8/12 for
Yeah,
on the
to back,
front
it's-
gables.
Front to back, it's 612.
because ultimately we have to note this set and approve this set so that you have something
I
you can
mean-
actually build on, right? So.
That the heel's a foot or less. I say foot or less, that way if you guys decide makes more, there's some design sense to an 8-inch dimension on it, I don't know. I mean, let the truss guys figure it out from there, and then if you go with the, what's that?
Excuse me? Yes, I can. Thank you very much, young
Had
man.
Leslie Lasky, he would have reached up with his thumb like this and said, "That's your point right there, and just draw it." And it would have been to scale.
Yes, but then he would have had to do it over to enter it into the public record.
So while Matt is drawing it, what I think we're talking about is lowering the overall height with the heel a little bit, and then because that triggers the pressure on your garage, just figuring out exactly how much, and that's it. And then we'll see how it looks, and then we'll talk about it again. So I just want everyone to know what we're doing. That's what we're doing. because it's fair for you to see what we're proposing before someone says they want to do it. So,
And those, to me, I would prefer before, I mean, early on, I was thinking, okay, well, if you could reduce the pitch on the front porch, bring it out a little further, that'd be great. But to me, these two things we're talking about are a better impact than trying to push the porch further to de-emphasize the garage more. So I'm not gonna even suggest, I'm just telling you my thought process, well, to kill time more than anything else. And I'm not asking for that as a change unless the other guy said, well, we want that change too, but I don't think they're looking for that. Boy, you're slow.
Been a long day, man.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I would not even be able to do with this software, so I would have to open it up in AutoCAD and just redraw it real quick. But it'd take me 10 minutes to load the software and get things running.
That should come down roughly, what, 10 inches?
But again, we're trying to do without impacting the actual program square footage of the inside of the house, which is the goal. So I went to this one right here for that intersection because I see the gutter right there. That looks like the top of the roof line. That's the flashing. So if I scale that, roughly 2 feet. So if we come down 1 foot or 10 inches on the raised heel, we're still clear. We still have room for flashing.
Yeah,
They're approximate.
and that may be the kind of a determining factor. But if it's, I mean, if you find that, yeah, it's better to trim at a certain point, whatever.
So if we're willing to entertain that, I can finish cleaning up later. But I think we're talking about something about, well, I'm not there yet, but
Public comment before we get to.
sure.
That's just,
Let me go back and look. Nope, wrong thing. In fact, I don't need that. Zoom meeting. That's it. Stuff in the way. There it is. Participants. We have one online attendee, Denise Lee. I'm allowing you to talk. Is there anyone either online or in the council chamber that would like to comment on this submission?
This is Denise Lee. I have no comments.
Denise, which project are you here for?
I am here for 8776 Pine Avenue.
Perfect, thank you.
You're welcome.
Somebody remind me of that when that one comes up.
That's the pergola.
Okay.
oh, you can take a nap for a while.
All right. So I will finish marking this up. We're going to lower the raised heel to 1 foot. And we're gonna drop the pitch on the front gables to 8 and 12. And the hip. Oh, the hip on the side, yeah,
If
so
you
it
guys-
matches.
If you guys are okay with just saying 1 foot or less, give him the option.
1 foot or less TBD.
He's gonna say, no, we're happy with a foot, but
I said 10 to 12. I have 10 to 12 inches on my notes, and
there you go.
So just as we were doing this process, you know, I did catch up from missing last time and looking at the different materials and the window trim, as you said, and that all seems to be in order. I don't know if the colors are noted. I'm not sure, so I will.
I think we did talk about the colors, but that's a good point. We need to bring them up again. We may not have even gone over it for this one. I don't remember.
there was a color board, if you will, submitted.
Separate document. Okay, we'll find it. Yeah.
Let me go find that. Exterior colors. Oh, that downloaded to my box. There we go. Blue gray, certainteed, black, front door, garage door, white, doors, windows, white, white, white. About columns.
Gutters, downspouts?
Yeah,
On
those
that
listed.
list?
You had gutters.
Oh, white and
trim.
white, gotcha, okay.
Thanks.
So is that more in the blue color range, or is that a gray?
Personally, I think I always look at it. I mean, I don't think that color is necessarily my angle. At least it's a little bright, but I think it's more of a gray, personally.
It looks completely different on my screen than it does up there.
Sure does. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that looks like a mid-tone. Oh, that looks like a blue. Okay,
That's much more blue than what I'm seeing on my screen.
okay.
It's much more blue-gray on this screen.
So it's
So
probably more like that.
It's fine. Could you scroll down? I didn't see. Was there a color listed for the shake sighting? I didn't see that. I'm sorry.
Back.
Same as the. Okay. Just different texture then. All right.
Much call for the earth tone colors on the houses yet, or are they still all going for gray?
Some on grays, though.
we haven't seen white with windows in a few months, but we are seeing now
2 months.
charcoal
It'll be
for the whole, yeah.
All right. So I don't have. Is it safe to make a motion, or are we still engaged in process?
Well, we had no public comments. I think we've got all the questions answered. I will clean up the annotations and email them to the city, so they'll have them when you come in for permit to compare.
I would move to approve as noted.
I'll second that.
Calling the roll, Carl Carlin,
Yes.
Paul Turner,
Yes.
Matt Foreman, yes.
Thank you for listening.
All right, 8832 Moritz. I'm going to save this so I don't lose all my markups. Close. A lot of the same comments last month for both submissions.
Out to what you want.
part of the discussion on this one last month was we are across the street from new builds.
Mm-hmm.
So what we're over here, and we did have,
This is the one with the sewer easement that's kind of,
correct. I was gonna say, we had the gentleman who backed up to the back of the property was here last week, or last month. All right, so this one, we do have the consistent front eve line. We're still at a 10-12. Did we have the same with the raised heel on both? I think we did.
probably, yeah.
Not seeing it on this one at the moment.
Yeah, this one's been dropped to what most of the homes have right now, which is, did we talk about this one as having more of a hip side, or was there a reason this one kept it?
Yeah, again, I wasn't here. I'll let you guys catch up with what was said last time, and then I'll time because I didn't hear last time.
I thought you were here last time. Oh, okay. We're here in spirit.
There we go. Last time's comments. So this is the one we did a
Gotcha.
similar,
Yeah, I think there
Markup.
was some reason we were not as concerned with the sides. Was it because of the proximity?
Right.
It's sitting back is partly
It
what's
was-
happening here.
yeah, so part of it was, and I don't know if I have the site plan open. Let me go find the site plan so everyone's
Yeah.
aware of the last conversation. That is pertinent.
I think all the old setback for the street was further forward or something, I think is what was going on.
It's back on the lot a little bit more than the other two
Yeah,
houses.
and I think
Has
there
to.
was a combination of that, and it's that sewer easement that's cut in the front. So that's why we were accepting that more. So if somebody looks and asks us why we didn't impose that on this one,
We can't.
I'm trying to, that was what I mean, it just doesn't have the same impact on the neighbors, what it seemed like.
All right, so this one, it actually looks like it was, the old one was in the easement based on that line right there. So the new one, the entire house is set back from the line adjacent, and even the corner of the porch coincides with the dog leg in the MSD easement.
I think some of that was simply because I think it's only 2 or 3 feet forward of the, gotcha. Did it move back just a little bit?
No, this I don't believe has changed. It's not
Okay.
showing as revised on the website, so I think this is unchanged. It is worth noting, there was a robust discussion last month. The easement goes all the way to the back,
Yeah.
and then that sewer line goes across. This neighbor participated in the last meeting, asked about drainage, et cetera, but there actually is a rain garden retention area and grading in the backyard. And correct me if I'm wrong, but they did have the civil engineering study on this submitted.
It's part of the package, it looks like it's been done. It just hasn't been submitted yet. I mean, they won't, I don't think did they submit a full permit package to you guys already? Okay.
Where I was going was, we don't need to talk about civil engineering
We
this
don't
week.
need to talk, it is a separate issue, and it is covered by the whole water remediation process, and so, as neighbors, that's, we
So-
have that now, so it really, we've never actually addressed it. People have vented and explained their issues here, but there's a whole engineering process requirement now. And it takes time and effort to get it done, and it's there. So they do according to what the system is. And again, it's like our zoning. It is what it is at this point, so.
So this front elevation, porch not an issue because it's equal to the garage.
Yeah.
It's composed nicely. We were mainly discussing height of the project. It was 10-12 on the front. Prior, it was 8-12 on the side. We sketched it in at 612, and it was a discussion, kind of a one-way discussion because your architect was not here at the last meeting. So if we compare that to the revised, still showing 1012 and 812. So I actually don't see that they've lowered it. Do you know what changes they made?
Not the updated set, maybe. Look on the right hand
Says
corner.
submitted for August 15th is the file I have open. There may be an administrative thing there. I don't know.
Don't have my way. So look in the right corner and see what the date is of the drawing versus the other one.
520,
I hope they didn't reissue the same drawing.
520.
Yeah,
no
so those are the same
revisions.
drawings. So did you happen to bring a set with you? Okay.
I did submit.
So all I'm seeing for this week, 8832.
This architect doesn't always change her date. So on page 4, she put the revision date of 7/20, but like on page 5, it didn't change the date.
No visible changes on. I don't know that I see any visible changes.
All right, so what we're hearing is that she did drop it to 612.
Which, since she's the designer, if it's 6/12, that kind of meets what we were talking about, right?
So yeah, the last time we had 612 for all the pitches all the way around, even though the side was 812, front was 1012. If she's dropped it to 612 all the way around,
That's what I was told that she did.
So can we go to the front elevation really quick? So I wasn't here for the conversation last month, so I don't want to complicate it, now that you've already had a conversation, yeah. So,
Moment,
but
please.
when I look at this, what strikes me is it's not the gables that are pointing at the street. Those don't seem as height, causing as the gable behind it, right? Like, and it feels quite massive in this image, actually, right? So, given that a lot of what we're trying to do here, which might seem opaque, but like the goal is that when we have a neighborhood that's been traditionally one story and now it's transitioning to two story, that we do that in a controlled, measured way and without making people feel dwarfed or pushed out of their homes. And so, when the last house on this block to go two story has the benefit of being as tall as it wants, right? Before they go to three story and we start over again, right? But that's not this house, right? So, yeah, so I think with this house, that's what I see right away is the expanse of that roof. Now, we all know elevation isn't how buildings are experienced, right? And the house is set back from, so that's all helpful. But, if you want to change the front-facing gables as well as the side-facing gables, that's fine. I personally think that the front-facing gables now look a little stubby on the left, That's just me. But really, the line bringing the main gable down seems to be having a huge impact on the sense of scale of the building, right? So I would, if you guys want to stick with last month's and make all the gables smaller, that's cool. I think we should take that main gable down.
I prefer to see what was submitted. Is there any way to look?
The
in
plans
your-
I do have do say 612 on the main roof, and I'm not seeing it
Says
for the other ones yet.
6/12, But, okay, so let's us walk over and see what. Oh, I gotta leave my glasses behind, so
Yeah, it's definitely different.
I'm gonna stay here by the digital toys.
612,
all right, so we have a paper copy.
yep.
Matt, you wanna take a peek at it?
It's already been drawn.
Come up and look, this is yours, if anybody else.
You want to take a sec?
Yeah, I like that little cozy nature there, so.
Because how's the, those are.
That doesn't look, yeah, there you go. It's a little different, which is fine. I mean, that would be, that's, I
Yeah,
would
there
have
it
done
is.
too. So.
Okay, so I'm gonna change.
You don't have to.
We don't have to, we've got sets.
Further paper drawing.
Yep.
So,
No, we're still sorting out the administrative.
Yeah, go ahead. You can take it with you.
those online.
Why don't you keep it?
All right, so Is there anyone in the chamber for public comment on this submission? And Carl, she had trim around,
Oh, do we have colors noted?
I believe we did.
And I don't remember. It's
They're all
probably,
black and white.
oh,
It's a black
let's see.
and white.
Gotcha, so
See, we
that's
just
in
said
a,
we haven't had a
White
black and
sided
white in a
black.
while.
oh, you spoke too soon, there it
It
is.
cursed us.
So is it a dark gray door or a black door?
Onto this and put it into the official record.
Okay.
All right, so we only still have Miss Lee on and no one in the,
So I'm going to
Chamber
move
wanted to comment?
to approve as the submitted, the
paper.
revised submitted drawings. I move to approve as submitted.
Second.
Taking the roll,
Very much.
Welcome.
Carl Carlin,
Yes.
Paul Turner,
Yes.
Matt Foreman, yes. All right, on to new business. Give me a moment while I close things.
Oh, yeah. It's amazing what paper does.
We haven't had paper since before COVID.
Getting printed. I had them at the house, so that was just
York Drive. All right. Taking the podium, thank you. Introduce yourself and tell us about your project.
Dave Velazquez with Professional Building Service. Job site's gonna be 70 York. We were here 2 years ago. This porch cover was tied in with a 2-story room addition that we were gonna do on the back. But something happened when we were approved for that and this, but something happened within their family and they stopped it. So they called me earlier this year and want to do just the porch cover in the front. So that's where we're at with it. Lauren Stropman had did all the drawings for the addition and everything, so. So it was approved at one time, it's just out of time, I think.
We do a little housekeeping. Wouldn't select, I don't know why.
it's a computer, that's why.
Pushed it pretty hard today, so. All right, so here's our front porch. Front elevation. So that's the new porch, correct?
Right, yeah, there's nothing there now.
Okay.
It's open.
I think I remember this with the larger work in the back.
Yeah, it was a 2-story addition in the back, it's really extensive, had a open
Oh, yeah.
barbecue pit area, it was just a
Yeah,
whole,
oh, yeah, I remember that.
and then we had it all, everything was approved, and he just held
paid-
it. So
Paid any attention to the front?
we had done all, we had all the work done.
I,
We have
colors?
colors.
What does it say? That?
White,
Yeah, white.
metal flashing, MDO plywood painted.
Fascia painted white as well, or
What?
it says painted, but is
Yeah,
it
it's all white.
white? Everything's white,
Everything's
okay.
white.
And then a roof to match existing?
Yes.
Okay. Gutters to match existing? Okay. That's, I guess I can't move anything until we open it to public comment.
Correct. Is there anyone in the chamber or online for comment on this submission?
No.
Would move to approve as noted.
I'll second that, or as submitted.
No, we noted colors.
Oh, you're adding a color there.
They didn't have the roof color
Oh, gotcha.
called out, so, that I saw anywhere. We have a motion and a second, calling the roll. Carl Carlin,
Yes.
Paul Turner,
Yes.
Matt Foreman, yes. There you go. Thank you. Save that. Next is 9339 White Avenue. Sorry, Denise, you're last.
Okay.
Can't spell. Okay, so there's our aerial view, and here is our submission. Introduce yourself and tell us about your project, please.
I'm Jennifer Taylor with Terra Nova Builds, and doing some in rear of the house, doing some interior remodeling, and the kitchen is house, and so the rearranging of the kitchen and interior is affecting the windows and doors on those two walls. So we're proposing to, the side window is going to be in the same location, but it's going to be smaller because the kitchen is now extending all the way to the end of the room. So we need to raise the seal height there. And, excuse me, on the rear, similar because of how the kitchen is coming all the way down to the end, we're relocating the door from the corner to the center of the wall and removing the window that's there. So that's the plan. All the siding will be redone to match what's there.
So really you're removing a deck, adding a concrete step is the only footprint
Right,
change.
yeah.
So that's that coming off with the new steps here, and then it's, other than that,
Yeah.
redoing openings and siding.
Well, so there's going to be a phase 2 where we are developing backyard. She wants to build a garage and patio and all kind of stuff like that. So right now, this pad and those steps are kind of temporary, just so she has a way to get out the back without it being a mud pit. And yes, because we were trying to minimize what we're doing at this point, since she is going to be doing a whole master plan for the backyard, like, you know, that's our next phase. So we were trying to, you know, keep it to minimum right now, what we're doing there. So we were just gonna pour a pad and then put some wood steps down on top of the pad. Yes, yes. Yes.
I don't have any questions.
Any questions from anyone in the chamber? Do we have a motion?
I'll move to approve as submitted.
Second.
Calling the roll, Carl Carlin?
Yes.
Matt Foreman, yes. Paul Turner?
Yes.
Thanks.
There you go. All right, 8776 Pine.
Can I make a quick follow-up question or comment on that? I mean, to me, did not change the volume. Nobody's going to notice any of the other stuff, so.
Oh, it was minimal. It was the
Non-issue.
back of the house. Yeah.
Sounds like the rest of it, we'll see later, will have a bigger impact. Is that right? 8776 Pine. On the right side of the street or am I across? Oh, now I know where I am. I apologize. All right, so to see this one, this is behind the residence, correct?
Correct.
So I need to go to Garden Court to see where your work is.
Yep.
I remember this one now. Thank you. Here.
Only block in Brentwood, I'm told, that has a double frontage.
Okay, so you have lovely tree cover on Google Earth.
My wife's garden is really nice.
So we're back here
Yeah,
somewhere.
John was there Monday.
All right, let me get this open. All right, so my understanding from looking at the documents, you have a factory-built All right, so we have a public comment, we have a pergola, we have a site plan. There we go. Okay, that's what I was missing. Full elevations, so. This is Pine, this is Garden Court back here.
Correct.
The note from your neighbor says it indicates that the pergola is existing.
Correct.
So it's existing. So then how is it that we're seeing it?
Because when I put it up, I didn't feel as though it was something that would need a permit. And I was informed it did, so then I followed procedure.
Do we have photographs? The in
I thought there were
situ
photographs
elevations?
Uploaded.
That's what I'd look for. Uh-huh.
I thought we uploaded photographs, I really did.
You have them on your phone?
That's a
You
good question.
Don't mind just passing them around for us to take a peek at it. It'll save a
No, let me,
time from our standpoint.
Bye. You know what I can do is I get my wife to send me one. Honey? Good thing I'm last.
Last or second to last? Do we have one more after this, or is this
I
yours?
don't believe so.
I've
This
got
is the last.
anything here.
Who's on then?
She's the person who authored the letter.
Oh, gotcha. Does Denise have photographs?
So I think part of the
I don't, but if it would expedite things, I could try to run outside and take a couple pictures.
Probably could. Let's see here. Let me get- Okay, actually, this isn't too bad. It shows almost all of it.
I think this is actually more useful.
Can you see it in that? Is that the
So
actual?
I think you've added it.
Oh, gotcha.
Right there.
So I think part of the conversation, staff called me on this one just to ask questions. It's a prefabricated pergola.
Gotcha.
Help me understand, is it solid or is it
So it's
lattice?
extruded aluminum, so they're beams and posts.
Okay.
It's made by Domi. It's a company that's been around for a long time. I am a carpenter. That's what I do for a living. And a builder, and so it's I don't put junk on my house. Very well made. Everything interlocks and bolts together. It's also anchored into the concrete it's sitting on. 1/4 inch by 4 anchors column, so that's 24 anchors total, 6 columns, 7 beams, and it all holds together. It's protected somewhat on uplift because it's louvered.
I think that's
So
where,
it
Okay,
breathes.
so it's
Yeah,
a louvered.
It's louvered top,
well,
yes.
that was
Top
when
structure.
staff
So it's a
called me,
pergola.
honestly, that was part of my question.
Sure.
Because that is a different live load condition, because it's not gonna carry snow.
No.
It's gonna fall through, and it's gonna have a different wind uplift.
Yeah.
But that's where part of the question came, because if we felt the urge to bolt this down, as opposed to just a pop-up shelter that you're putting in your backyard temporarily, which we all know could still fly away. This one, because our ordinance is not prescriptive about what prefabricated pieces are coming before the board, this was brought to the board because of the requirement to bolt it down.
So what is the size?
It is 12 by 20.
12 by 20.
So it's substantial.
It's a good size.
Yeah. I mean, the whole thing actually weighs about 500 pounds.
I mean, essentially, we're looking at it as a matter of process, not necessarily as a. So, I mean, the reason to ask for a photograph, you know, like the normal expectation.
My
for,
wife just sent me 8 more, by the way.
the normal expectation
thanks.
Send them to him.
for a submission would have the new piece of architecture, whatever it is, drawn in context, right?
Right.
So you know, although the image of the pergola is helpful, like everyone else, we would want to see, oh, how does it change the the elevation and the side?
Oh, I understand, yeah.
So the photo answers those questions, which is why we ask for them, right?
I get it, I
so-
do, yeah.
but
I
beyond-
honestly thought I'd
yeah.
uploaded some, so that's part of that.
So one
But
other
I apparently didn't.
question, does it have a footing or is it on a 4-inch or 5-inch slab?
That
It's
was
on
one of-
slab.
That was
It's
one of my
bolted on slab.
questions.
It doesn't carry a live load of any kind, so it doesn't take a footing or a pier.
I can,
I'm going to say that my opinion is that it is not covered by this board. It's a fixture at this point because you can bolt something down, but it's not the same as if you built a footing. You can't go and convert this to a room from here.
I would humbly suggest, your point may be spot on.
Yeah.
It may be pertinent to our future design ordinance
Yeah,
conversation.
Exactly, and
since
that's why I
he's
say it out
here-
loud. Oh, yeah, no, I mean,
If
what is,
As a part of the process, I'd like to express that I agree with you in that, I really don't think it should have fallen. However, when reading the rules,
Yeah.
it is in there. The
Yeah,
word
it's-
pergola is actually in there. If the structure exceeds 200 square foot,
right.
then that's.
And
But
it's
I honestly
big
agree with
enough,
you.
right, that it kicks it
It is
into a
the
very gray area,
Yeah.
but without the footing, yeah. So
But that said,
yeah, we'll get that clarified later.
based on the photographs, which we would like to get entered into the record, I don't have any comment on the style or the architectural impact. on the rear of the house, even though it is a two-front lot.
Right. And so,
Just give you a little information. I do have the website pulled up. It does state it here. It doesn't give you a whole lot of instructions on how to attach it, but it does state that it can be attached to concrete with the anchors, as he stated, or a wooden deck. The only thing that I do have a concern with when I start looking at this is that it does have a snow pressure resistance of 15 pounds per square foot, and it only has a wind resistance of 60 miles an hour.
So we are way beyond what we do
yeah,
here.
again, it's not our purview, so
Okay,
we're going to
yeah, I
skip
was
that
just-
one. So
yeah, I
I'll
was
let
just
you
trying
deal
to-
with that as a separate issue altogether.
So I would
because
say-
it's a purchased item.
I agree. So those pieces, I would say, would fall under permitting,
Right.
because we're not going to tell him he needs a foundation.
Yeah.
We're going to comment on what the pergola looks like as part of Architectural Review Board.
I just wanted to give you that information so we had it
So-
pulled up.
We'll save that conversation for after the meeting, and we can discuss some semantics. And I have my own opinion on that one too, but that's, I'm not going to mention that one because
And
it's
so
not
beyond
what we're
the
doing.
one guest, do we have anybody else from?
Does our one guest
the
have a
public who has
comment on
anything to
this?
say?
So Denise was the one that authored the public comment.
Yeah,
Oh, we have another comment. Another comment.
Oh,
Okay, good.
sorry.
there we go.
Come on up.
I have no
I believe,
other comment other than, it is from our perspective, from our yard, it's a very lovely pergola.
Okay.
It works very nicely, in my opinion, with the architecture of
Okay.
the house.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Next person speak now. Do we follow same as Architectural Review Board commenters need to give name and? Yes. So name and address and share with us your comment, please.
My name is Jeff Truesdell. I live at 8777 Pine across the street
Okay.
from this property. I've been there since 2007. I've known Anthony by time. Everything they have ever done to that house has been a huge expensive maintenance of their and as Kent said, he's a highly regarded carpenter and contractor who doesn't put crap in his house. So I support whatever this project requires from you.
Thank you.
And honestly, it's not really part of this discussion, but I'm like sort of deeply suspicious of a condition where someone has two front streets. Like Garden Court is an alley until such point as someone's front of their house points to it.
Right.
In my opinion.
There are houses. No,
There's
there are,
actually a big discussion to have about that because there's a lot of rules. You don't really know how they apply in that condition.
so
Yeah.
there are the
Oh.
houses
Condition of
across the
dual
street.
frontage, there's not a whole lot of rules that are clear on it.
You're entitled to a backyard, is what I'm saying. So.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm not
Good job.
speaking. I'm not speaking as I didn't write the code. I'm not enforcing. You know, I'm
Right,
saying as a
right.
person who votes on two of the boards, I would always say you have a right to a backyard.
So I'm going to only ask this in the meeting because is this treated as a two front yard home on the front and the back?
Yes, sir.
It is. Okay. That's why I brought it up here because it does impact this.
And I think it's kind of, if you look at it the same way as a corner house, it has two front yards.
Okay. Never had that situation before.
It's the only block in Brentwood.
Well, I'm glad it's the only block, and I hope there's not any other ones out there either, so.
All
And
right,
other
so,
municipalities, because it's just, that one's not one.
so I think we're out of questions from the board. We've heard public comment.
I'll move to,
We are not approving, excuse me, we're not approving foundation, wind loading, or other
Correct.
permitting issues. We're talking about the architectural impact
Okay.
of a prefabricated pergola in the back of your house.
so I will, with that caveat, I will clarify it as a submitted item. I will move to approve as submitted. And I say it as submitted because it was required to come based on the discussion, because it's such an ambiguously gray area that it came up. But,
I would
and I
offer that-
apologize for that.
The only caveat I would offer is I would like the photographs delivered to the
Oh,
city
yes.
to be part of the
I can do
public record.
That's the as submitted part.
Yep.
Okay.
I can
We got to
email
see
them
'em
before I
here and-
leave. Yep, yep.
Second.
Calling the roll, Carl Carlin.
Yes.
Paul Turner,
Yes.
Matt Foreman, yes.
Very nice.
Yeah, it looks great. I mean, I think
Great
it
job.
looks great.
All right. Next agenda item is public comments, general public comments, other than ones for the submittal. And Ace is still out there. Everyone else is leaving the chamber.
I have no comments. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is the director's report still part of the meeting?
That's the next item.
Okay.
Update from the director, building official.
I am the unofficial building official and/or director. We have yet to receive an application for September. However, we are anticipating one may come in. So please mark your calendars, and if that meeting does indeed not happen, we will let you know.
How long do I have to get something in?
I believe,
I think that's an after the meeting question.
I believe by Monday.
Monday.
Do we have any update on our design ordinance and meetings? I know they had a computer problem at that company.
I have not heard any updates,
Okay.
but I will keep you posted if I hear any.
I believe Whitney gave us that update last month that they had a computer issue. It was ransomware. They were vague, but we've been ransomware twice. I wouldn't. So. All right. If there's no other open issues, do we have a motion for adjournment?
Move to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. And I'm going to stop.
Gavel. Got to do the gavel first. Thank you.
I'm going to unplug that.